The great hall of the Xeraxian High Court towered above her. Its crystal walls reached up into darkness, making Lyra feel smaller than she had ever felt before. She stood alone in the center of the circular chamber, her blue skin pale with fear. 5 alien judges sat high above her, their red eyes glowing in the dim light. Prisoner 2174, you stand accused of high treason against the Xeraxian Empire, the chief judge announced. His voice boomed through the chamber. You helped the humans during our sacred war. How do you plead? Lyra's hand shook, but she kept her head high. I did what was right, she said. Her voice was quiet but clear. The crowd of alien officials watching from the shadows began to whisper. Nobody had ever dared to admit guilt so openly before the tribunal. Silence. The chief judge's voice cracked like thunder. He leaned forward, his silver robes catching the light. You admit to helping our enemies. You admit to giving them information about our defenses. The humans are not our enemies, Lyra said. They tried to make peace. We attacked them first. I saw the truth while working in the archives. The judges whispered among themselves. The chief judge's face darkened with anger. The archives are forbidden to your rank. You have committed 2 crimes, treason and accessing restricted information. Lyra stood straighter. Then I committed 3 crimes. I also sent proof of our lies to other worlds. The chamber erupted in shocked voices. Guards moved closer to Lyra, their weapons ready. The chief judge raised his hand, and silence fell again. You have sealed your fate, he said. The penalty for your crimes is death. The execution will happen at sunrise tomorrow. Lyra closed her eyes. She had known this would happen, but hearing the words still made her heart stop for a moment. Then the great doors of the chamber burst open with a crash. A tall figure strode in. The alien crowd backed away as a human male walked through their midst. He wore the black uniform of a human military captain, decorated with medals. His boots echoed on the crystal floor as he approached Lyra. Stop this trial, he commanded. His voice was deep and confident. The chief judge rose from his seat, fury on his face. How dare you interrupt our sacred court? Guards, seize him. The guards rushed forward, but the human captain stood his ground. He pulled out an ancient scroll and held it up. By the laws of the First Contact Treaty, signed 1,000 years ago between humans and Xeraxians, I claim the right of protection over this prisoner. The guards stopped. The crowd murmured in confusion. Even the judges looked uncertain. What nonsense is this? The chief judge demanded. The captain unrolled the scroll. Article 7 of the treaty states that a human of high rank may claim protection over any Xeraxian facing death if they believe that person is innocent. I, Captain James Chen of the Earth Defense Force, claim this right now. Lyra stared at the human in shock. She had never seen him before. Why would he risk himself to save her? The chief judge's face turned dark purple with rage. That treaty is ancient history. It holds no power here. The treaty was never canceled, Captain Chen said calmly. It is still law. Unless you want to break one of our oldest peace agreements in front of all these witnesses. He gestured to the crowd, where many were recording everything with their devices. The chief judge looked around nervously. This prisoner is dangerous, he tried again. She has admitted to crimes against our empire. Then she will be my responsibility, Captain Chen said. He turned to look at Lyra, and she saw something hidden in his eyes, a message she couldn't understand yet. Her life is now mine to protect. You dare to challenge our authority. The chief judge roared. Guards, take them both. Captain Chen moved fast, pulling Lyra behind him as he faced the approaching guards. If you want her dead, he said loudly, you'll have to go through me first. Are you ready for the diplomatic crisis that will cause? The guards hesitated, looking to the judges for orders. The chief judge was trapped. If he arrested or killed a human captain, it could restart the war. Lyra's heart pounded as she stood behind the human who had just risked everything to save her. She didn't understand why he had done it, but she knew this was only the beginning. The chief judge's face showed his rage as he realized he was cornered. The ancient law left him no choice. "This court will recess to examine the treaty," he announced bitterly. "The prisoner will remain in Captain Chen's custody until we reach a decision." As they walked out of the chamber together, Lyra heard the captain whisper, "Stay close to me. The real danger is just beginning." Captain Chen's grip on Lyra's arm tightened as they walked through the crystal corridors of the Xeraxian palace. Guards watched their every move, hands on their weapons. "When I say run," he whispered, "hold your breath for exactly 10 seconds. Before Lyra could ask why, an explosion rocked the building. But there was no fire. Instead, rainbow-colored smoke filled the corridor. The guards raised their weapons, but their bodies began moving in slow motion, as if caught in invisible syrup. "Run." Chen pulled her forward. "And breathe in. Now." Lyra held her breath. They sprinted past the frozen guards who seemed trapped in time. Her lungs burned as they ran, but she kept counting. 1, 2, 3. A memory flashed in her mind. Something about this felt familiar, but she couldn't place why. They reached a window overlooking the capital city's endless towers. Chen pulled out a small silver sphere. "Do you trust me?" "I don't even know you," Lyra said, finally breathing again. "But you've seen me before," he said. "In the archives. Think harder." Another explosion rocked the building. This time, alarm sirens wailed across the city. Chen threw the silver sphere at the window. Instead of breaking, the glass melted into a perfect circle. "Jump." He grabbed her hand. They leaped through the hole, falling 50 stories down. Lyra wanted to scream, but the air was stolen from her lungs. The ground rushed up to meet them. Then Chen pressed something on his uniform. A field of blue energy surrounded them, slowing their fall. They landed softly on a lower roof. "The time bubble won't hold them much longer," Chen said, running to a hidden door. "They'll figure out it was temporal smoke soon enough." Temporal smoke. Lyra followed him through the door. "That's impossible technology. Nobody has mastered time manipulation. Nobody except the humans you helped." Chen smiled. "Your information led to this breakthrough. That's why they want you dead. You know too much." They entered a small room where a sleek black ship waited, barely bigger than a ground car. Its surface seemed to swallow light. More memories tickled at Lyra's mind. "This ship. I've seen designs like this before." "You did more than see them," Chen said, opening the cockpit. "You helped create them, before they wiped your memory." The palace defenses were activating now. Energy turrets emerged from hidden panels, targeting their position. "Get in." Chen pushed her into the ship. "Your muscle memory might save us both." Lyra fell into the pilot's seat. Her hands moved on their own, pressing controls she didn't remember learning. The ship hummed to life. "How am I doing this?" she whispered. "Because you're not just any traitor." Chen strapped himself in beside her. "You're the head of our joint human-Xeraxian defense project. Or you were before they caught you." Laser fire erupted around them. Lyra's body moved without thinking, making the ship dance between the beams. They shot straight up, breaking through a security barrier like it was paper. "The real question," Chen said as they climbed toward space, "is how much of the project data survived in your hidden memories, and whether we can access it before they catch us." Lyra's head spun with questions, but a new sound cut them off. The screaming engines of pursuit ships launching from the palace. "They're not trying to arrest us anymore," Chen said grimly. "Those are kill ships. Still trust me." Lyra looked at her hands on the controls, flying a ship she'd never seen with skills she didn't remember learning. "I trust myself," she said. "And apparently, I trusted you enough before to give you this plan." The kill ships opened fire as they broke atmosphere. Lyra felt a strange calm settle over her as stars filled the view screen. "Then let's find out what else you hid in that mind of yours," Chen said. "Because according to your own plans, we have exactly 40 minutes before the real trouble starts." The ship's sensors screamed warnings as 5 more kill ships appeared ahead of them, cutting off their escape route. Lyra felt a smile spread across her face. Want to see what else this ship can do? Her fingers danced across the controls as the real chase began. The kill ship's energy beams sliced through space, but Lyra's hands guided their black ship through impossible maneuvers. Each near miss triggered more forgotten memories. "There's an asteroid field ahead," Chen said, studying the nav screen. "Perfect place for an ambush. Or a perfect place for what I apparently hid there," Lyra responded, her voice strange even to herself. The words had come without thought. Chen looked at her sharply. "What did you just remember?" Before she could answer, their ship shuddered. One of the kill ships had landed a glancing hit. Hull integrity at 92%, the ship's AI announced in a voice that sounded eerily like Lyra's own. "Activating Quantum Mirage Protocol." "Quantum what?" Chen reached for the controls, but Lyra slapped his hand away. "Don't." She blinked in surprise at her own reaction. I think I know what's happening." Their ship suddenly split into 7 identical copies, each flying in different directions. The kill ships hesitated, unsure which to follow. "They're not copies," Lyra said, memories flooding back. "They're quantum possibilities. Each ship is us in a different reality, but only one is real. And let me guess, you're the only one who knows which one." Lyra smiled. "The other 6 will lead them to very interesting places." They watched as the kill ships split up, pursuing the phantom ships. 2 followed them into the asteroid field. "Incoming transmission," the AI announced. "From ourselves." Static filled the cabin, then cleared into a message. "Password required for Project Phoenix retrieval. Speak your truth." "What truth?" Chen asked. "What's the password?" Lyra stared at the asteroids ahead. They looked random, but her eyes caught a pattern, a constellation of rocks that triggered something deep in her mind. "I chose to forget," she whispered. "I chose to hide the truth in my own mind, scattered in pieces only I could put together." The asteroids began to move, revealing a hidden docking station carved into a massive rock. "Identity confirmed," the AI said. "Welcome back, Director Lyra." The kill ships opened fire again, but their shots passed through harmlessly. They were shooting at another quantum mirage. "The real station is phase shifted," Lyra explained as their ship docked. "It exists slightly out of sync with normal spacetime. I designed it that way." "You did more than that," Chen said softly. "You designed everything about Project Phoenix. The quantum ships, the temporal weapons, the phase technology. That's why they couldn't just kill you. They needed to be sure all traces of your knowledge were gone." They stepped out of the ship into a vast chamber filled with strange machines and holographic displays. But what caught Lyra's attention was the massive window overlooking the shipyard. Dozens of black ships like theirs waited in silence. "A fleet," she breathed. "I built a fleet." "Not just ships," Chen said. "Look closer." The ships were arranged in a pattern. From their vantage point, Lyra could see they formed an image, a phoenix rising from flames. "It's a key," she realized. "The whole station, the fleet arrangement, even the quantum mirages, they're all keys to unlock my memories. I hid the truth in plain sight, knowing only I could put it all together." A new alarm blared. The kill ships had found them. "They're using phase sync torpedoes," Chen warned. "They'll break through eventually." Lyra walked to a central console, her fingers hovering over the controls. More memories surfaced with each passing second. "I remember why I chose you to find me," she said to Chen. "You're not just a captain." Chen's expression changed. His human appearance flickered for a moment, revealing something else underneath. "No," he said, "I'm what you created to ensure Project Phoenix would succeed. The question is, are you ready to remember everything? Because once you do, there's no going back." The station shuddered as the first torpedo hit. "The truth about the war, about what the Tribunal is really planning," Chen continued. It's all locked in your mind, but accessing it will change you forever. Lyra placed her hands on the console. Screens lit up around her, displaying data only she could decode. "I'm already changed," she said. "And I think it's time the Tribunal learned what happens when you try to cage a phoenix." She pressed her palm to the scanner, and the station blazed to life. The real battle was about to begin. The ships in the yard powered up simultaneously, their black hulls coming alive with flowing patterns of light. In the window's reflection, Lyra saw her eyes begin to glow with the same patterns. "Let's show them what I really am," she said, as the truth finally began to unfold. The glowing patterns on Lyra's skin pulsed in sync with the fleet of black ships. Each beat revealed more of what she truly was, not just a Xeraxian, but something engineered to be far more. "Time to initialization. 3 minutes," the station AI announced. "Warning. Hostile forces breaching outer defenses." Chen's human disguise had fully faded now. In his true form, he was a being of shifting light and crystal, a synthetic life form Lyra now remembered creating. "You're not just my guardian," she said, watching data flow across the screens. "You're my failsafe. I built you to destroy me if I was compromised, and to protect you if you stayed true to the mission," Chen added. His crystalline form refracted light in complex patterns. "Which is why I can do this." He pressed his hand against her forehead. Instant agony shot through Lyra's mind as blocked memories crashed through their barriers. She saw everything. The Tribunal wasn't just corrupt. They were possessed. Ancient entities called the Void Minds had infected them, using the Xeraxian Empire to prepare for a larger invasion. The war with humans was just a cover. "The fleet," she gasped through the pain. "It's not for fighting. It's for saving everyone." "Each ship can evacuate 10,000 beings," Chen confirmed, "and take them somewhere the Void Minds can't follow." The station shook violently. On the screens, they watched kill ships burning through the phase barrier. Lyra rushed to a cylindrical chamber in the center of the room. Inside was a pilot's chair surrounded by neural interfaces. The Phoenix Protocol was never about war. It was about exodus. "Director Lyra," the AI interrupted. "Critical information. Your genetic modifications are destabilizing. Full memory restoration will cause complete cellular breakdown in 60 minutes. "That's why I erased my memories," Lyra realized. "The Void Minds can track active Phoenix genes. I had to go dormant to hide the fleet." Another explosion rocked the station. Chen's crystalline form flickered with concern. "We're out of time. You have to choose. Take control of the fleet and save everyone, but die in the process. Or we run, and you survive." Lyra stepped into the neural chamber. How many lives in the Empire? 8 billion Xeraxians, 4 billion humans in occupied territories. And the Void Minds will consume them all. Lyra sat in the chair. Neural connectors snaked out, linking to the glowing patterns on her skin. No choice at all, really. The chamber hummed to life. Through the fleet's sensors, Lyra could suddenly see everything. Every ship, every weapon, every possibility. The kill ships were breaking through, but they didn't matter anymore. "Chen," she said as power coursed through her. "Activate Project Starkiller." Chen's crystal form pulsed in surprise. That protocol was theoretical. The energy requirements will be met by my cellular breakdown. Lyra smiled sadly. One last gift from the Phoenix genes. Her body began to glow brighter, the energy patterns spreading across the chamber. Through the fleet's network, she broadcast a message to every world in the Empire. "People of all worlds, you've been deceived. The Void Minds control your leaders. But I've built you an ark. Look to the stars. Your salvation comes with the light." The kill ships finally broke through, flooding the station with Tribunal troops. But they were too late. Lyra's consciousness expanded through the fleet. Each ship activated, their black hulls transforming into blazing light. In her mind, she could feel billions of transport beams activating, reaching across the Empire. "Chen," she whispered, her physical form beginning to dissolve into pure energy. Show them what a phoenix really is. Her body erupted into brilliant light as the Starkiller protocol activated. Every ship in the fleet transformed into a miniature star, forming a network of light bridges across space. The evacuation had begun. But for Lyra, the true test was just beginning, holding the network together long enough to save everyone, while her very atoms burned away into stardust. Through the pain, she smiled. The Void Minds hadn't counted on one crucial fact. A phoenix always rises from its own ashes. Pure energy coursed through what remained of Lyra's physical form. The network of light bridges stretched across space, each ship-turned star pulsing in harmony with her fading heartbeat. Through the fleet's sensors, she watched as billions of beings were transported to safety. But the Void Minds were fighting back. Dark tendrils of anti-light began seeping through reality, trying to corrupt the evacuation network. Through her expanded consciousness, Lyra could finally see their true form, cosmic parasites that fed on civilizations, using the Tribunal as puppets. "Chen," she called out, her voice now existing as patterns of light. Status report. Her crystalline guardian interfaced with the station's systems. Evacuation 43% complete. But your cellular integrity is failing faster than predicted. She could feel it. Every transport beam, every light bridge maintained, burned away more of her transformed body. The glowing patterns that had once traced her skin now floated free, dancing like cosmic script through the air. The Void Minds she managed through waves of pain. They're adapting. Indeed, the dark tendrils had learned to follow the transport beams. Wherever evacuees arrived, shadows waited to infect them. Then Lyra remembered something else, a hidden subroutine in her genetic coding. "Chen, do you know why I chose a phoenix as our symbol?" His crystalline form shimmed with realization. The resurrection protocol. More than that, Lyra's consciousness touched each ship in the fleet simultaneously. A phoenix doesn't just rise from ashes. It burns what's corrupt. She began to sing. The sound wasn't physical. It was a quantum harmony that resonated with her phoenix genes. Each ship in the fleet joined the symphony, their light bridges transforming from simple transport paths into waves of purifying fire. The Void Minds screamed in frequencies that shattered nearby stars. "They're light-sensitive," Chen observed, his crystal body vibrating with the harmony. "Your song is burning them out of the Tribunal members." Through the fleet's sensors, Lyra watched as dark shapes were forced out of the possessed leaders, withering under her stellar symphony. But the effort was destroying her faster. "Evacuation 67% complete," Chen reported. "But your pattern coherence is critically low." Then we modify the song. Lyra reached out with her fading consciousness and touched Chen's crystalline matrix. "You're not just a guardian. You're a tuning fork." Understanding flowed between them. Chen's body began to resonate at exactly the right frequency, amplifying Lyra's quantum harmony. The light bridges blazed brighter. But the Void Minds had one last weapon. A massive shadow emerged from behind the system's sun, a planet-sized void entity that began consuming light itself. The evacuation network flickered. "They have a stellar leviathan," Chen warned. "It's eating the energy that powers the transport beams." Lyra watched her body dissolve further, the patterns of light that made up her form growing dimmer. Then she remembered her last hidden protocol, the true purpose of her genetic modifications. "Chen," she said softly, "thank you for finding me. Now help me become what I was engineered to be." She opened her consciousness fully, merging with the quantum field itself. Her awareness expanded beyond physical limits, beyond the fleet, beyond normal space. In that infinite moment, she understood everything. She wasn't just carrying Phoenix genes. She was the first of a new kind of being, one designed to exist as both energy and matter, life and light. The stellar Leviathan opened its void maw to swallow her light. Lyra let herself fall into it. But instead of being consumed, she began to burn. not with destructive fire, but with the kind of light that existed before stars were born. The quantum harmony reached a crescendo. Inside the void entity, Lyra's consciousness split into billions of light points, each one carrying a fragment of her song. The Leviathan tried to devour them, but each point was a seed. And from each seed, a new phoenix began to rise. Chen watched in awe as the stellar Leviathan began to glow from within, its dark mass filling with points of light that multiplied exponentially. The evacuation network stabilized, powered by the energy of a billion microscopic rebirths. But Lyra's original form was almost gone now, existing only as a fading pattern of light near the station's controls. "Final protocol activating," she whispered to Chen. "Remember the harmony." The Leviathan erupted in an explosion of pure light, transformed into a new sun. And in its heart, something was taking shape, something that was neither fully energy nor matter, neither fully Lyra nor fully Phoenix. The real transformation was about to begin. The newborn sun pulsed with impossible colors as Lyra's consciousness spread through its core. Her transformed being existed in a state between reality and energy, each quantum particle dancing to the harmony she had unleashed. But the Tribunal had one final weapon. Reality anchor detected. Chen's crystalline form vibrated with alarm. "They're trying to force you back into physical form." Massive devices appeared around the system, ancient technology that predated even the void mines. Each one fired beams of concentrated reality, trying to cage Lyra's expanded consciousness. Inside the new sun, Lyra felt the pull. The reality anchors were designed to trap beings of pure energy, forcing them into solid matter. If they succeeded, her transformation would be reversed, and the Phoenix Protocol would fail. "Chen," her voice echoed through quantum space, "tell me what you see." Her guardian's crystal matrix shifted, allowing him to perceive multiple dimensions at once. "The anchors, they're not just machines. They're growing." He was right. The reality anchors were transforming, sprouting crystalline structures identical to Chen's own form. Through her expanded awareness, Lyra understood the truth. "You're not the only synthetic being I created," she said. "The anchors, they're your siblings. The Tribunal found them and corrupted them." Chen's form flickered with emotion. "My family." The reality beams intensified, drawing Lyra's energy toward physical manifestation. But instead of fighting it, she tried something impossible. She accepted both states at once. Her consciousness split into quantum superposition. One version remained energy, spreading through space. The other began to take physical form, but not as her original self. She emerged from the new sun as a being of crystalline light, similar to Chen but burning with phoenix fire. Her new body was a bridge between states, neither fully matter nor purely energy. "The anchors weren't meant to trap," she said, her voice ringing across dimensions. "They were meant to transform, to help others ascend." Understanding flowed through Chen. He reached out to the corrupted anchors, singing the quantum harmony Lyra had taught him. The crystalline structures responded, their corrupted programming breaking down. But the void mines weren't finished. Dark tendrils shot from the Tribunal ships, trying to reinfect the anchors. A war of resonance began. Chen's pure song against the void's corruption. Lyra, existing in dual states, saw the pattern hidden in reality itself. The void mines, the anchors, the Phoenix Protocol, all were part of a larger design. Reality isn't meant to be either solid or energy. She broadcast to all worlds. Life isn't meant to be caged in one form. She touched each anchor simultaneously, existing everywhere and in nowhere. Her quantum superposition allowed her to be both the key and the lock, both the change and the constant. The anchors transformed, becoming what they were meant to be, bridges between states of being. Their reality beams turned to pure light, creating paths for others to follow. Through their network, Lyra could see the ultimate truth. The Phoenix Protocol wasn't just about evacuation or transformation. It was about evolution. "Chen," she said, her crystalline form pulsing with power, Help me show them what we really are. Her guardian joined her, their resonance patterns merging. Around them, the freed anchors added their own harmonies. The quantum symphony grew stronger than ever. But at that moment of triumph, space itself began to tear. The void minds had played their final card. They were ripping apart the dimensional barriers, trying to drag everything into pure chaos. Lyra watched reality starting to unravel and made her choice. She had one last transformation to undergo. All life carries the seeds of change, she broadcast. Now it's time to plant a new kind of garden. Her dual existence began to multiply, splitting into countless quantum possibilities. Each version of her became a thread, weaving a new pattern into the fabric of space-time itself. The true purpose of Project Phoenix was about to be revealed. And in that moment between moments, as reality held its breath, Lyra prepared to show the universe what ascension really meant. Reality unraveled in shimmering waves as Lyra's quantum threads wove through the dimensional tear. Each thread carried a fragment of her consciousness, each one singing a different note in the cosmic symphony. The void mind's chaos should have destroyed everything. Instead, it became her canvas. "What are you doing?" Chen asked, his crystalline form vibrating with both fear and wonder. "Creating a garden." Lyra's voice came from everywhere and nowhere. "Watch." Her quantum threads began to bloom. Where they intersected, new forms of existence sprouted, realities where energy and matter danced together, where consciousness wasn't bound to single forms. The dimensional tear became a nursery for new kinds of life. The Tribunal ships attacked, but their weapons passed harmlessly through the quantum garden. The void minds screamed in frequencies that shattered nearby planets, but each destructive wave only fed Lyra's creation. "They never understood," she said, her crystalline avatar smiling as her other forms continued weaving. "Phoenix fire doesn't just burn, it transforms. It creates." Through the quantum web, she could see all timelines at once. The past, where she had first discovered the void minds. The present, where billions of evacuees watched in awe. The futures, branching like endless fractals. But one timeline caught her attention. A subtle thread, almost hidden. "Chen," she called. "Remember when you found me in that courtroom? That wasn't the beginning." Her guardian's crystal matrix pulsed with realization. "You planned this. All of it. The trial, the escape, the fleet. Each step was a seed." Lyra's quantum threads formed a pattern that mirrored the Phoenix symbol, but not just for our universe. The void minds had been parasites, feeding on single realities. But in creating chaos, they had given Lyra the perfect opportunity to plant something greater. She reached into the quantum garden and pulled forth a new kind of light, one that existed in all dimensions simultaneously. The freed reality anchors resonated with it, their crystalline forms evolving into something beyond their original design. The Phoenix Protocol was never about saving one civilization, Lyra revealed. It was about teaching life to transcend. Her quantum threads began to sing in perfect harmony. Each note carried the code for transformation, teaching others how to exist in multiple states, how to grow beyond single forms. The void minds tried one last desperate attack. They merged into a single entity of pure darkness, trying to consume the quantum garden. But Lyra had planned for this too. "Chen," she said, "remember what you really are." Her guardian's crystalline form began to change. He wasn't just a synthetic being. He was the first successful quantum consciousness transfer, a bridge between old life and new. Together, they reached into the heart of the void mind entity. But instead of destroying it, they began to transform it. All life can evolve. Lyra's voice echoed through dimensions, even the darkness. The void mind entity's darkness began to crystallize, forming new patterns. Its hunger for consumption became a desire for creation. Its chaos became complexity. Through the quantum garden, Lyra broadcast a final message to all beings in all realities. The universe isn't a battlefield. It's not about survival or dominance. It's a garden waiting to bloom. and every consciousness carries seeds of infinite possibility. Her quantum threads wove the final pattern. The reality anchors now evolved into nexus points of creation, pulsed with new life. The transformed void minds added their own harmony to the cosmic symphony. The dimensional tear healed, but not by closing. Instead, it became a permanent bridge between states of being, a gateway for those ready to evolve. Lyra's crystalline avatar smiled at Chen as her other forms continued their eternal dance through the quantum garden. "Ready to help me tend this garden?" she asked. Chen's evolved form resonated with joy. "Is that what we are now? Gardeners of reality? We're whatever we choose to become," Lyra said, her consciousness spreading through the infinite blooms of possibility. "That's what it means to truly live." Around them, the quantum garden continued to grow, spreading seeds of transformation across all dimensions. The Phoenix Protocol was complete, but the symphony of creation was just beginning. In the heart of the new sun, a crystal phoenix spread its wings, its light reaching across all realities, forever changing what it meant to be alive. And somewhere in the quantum blooms, a trial began again. But this time, as a story told to new forms of life, about how existence learned to transcend itself.